What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Frozen Road Podcast. I am your host, John Hunter, and this is my guy, Danny, the Pitchman Hart. Danny, what is up?
What's up, brother? Thanks for having me.
All the time. You know what? At this point, you might just be the co-host here. You've been here long enough. You might as well just jump on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
dude. There has been so much that has been going on, and I feel like I say this all the time, but literally since the last time I was on here, there has probably been a ton of breaking news that I wasn't able to. I feel like every week I'm saying I'm going to go week to week, but then something happens on that one on the Thursday that I'm supposed to go for the back-to-back, and I end up not being able to do it. It fucking blows, dude.
Well, yeah, you got a lot going on with your coaching and everything. You're cutting it close with that 8 o'clock start. It's tough.
Yeah, I'm wearing myself thin, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? You gotta keep going, I guess. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's been a shit ton of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff I want to cover. One thing I do want to cover is we talked about this earlier. I want to do our very early picks for the All-Star game. We'll do obviously every position. We'll go through all the positions, who we think deserves at this moment right now. There's probably going to be some surprises from both of us, but hopefully there is. Hopefully we don't have the exact same one. That would suck. But I want to get into that. I want to get into Albert Pujols. You know, he's one of my favorite players of all time. He ended up retiring last week. It actually would have been perfect timing for my last one because I think he retired. Not retired.
Yeah, mutual agreement.
Mutual agreement to leave. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. I mean, I think we're all treating this like it's a retirement right now because no one's sure if anyone's going to actually fucking sign him.
Yeah, and I mean, if he does get signed, it's probably not going to be until later in the year. If a significant injury, the team needs a really desperate for a bat that can only play first base, and you're not going to get everyday first base out of him at this point.
No, and you're not, and that's the sad part, and it really isn't. We'll get into that. That's something I really want to end really on because I feel like that's going to be more of a lengthy conversation that we can have to really end this. But there's been a lot of stuff. I mean, we heard Jarred Kelenic. MLB debut today.
Yep. This part of the season is going to be fantastic. You're going to have all these. The minor league started, the beginning of last week, and now you got you're going to have so many just new players coming up. It's going to be a fun couple of weeks to see where these young kids come up and if they can make an immediate impact.
Absolutely, and then we got umpires have been fucking brutal the last couple of weeks. We have seen so much bad umpiring. We've seen so much bullshit going on with the umpires that I want to get into. I want to also talk about the crazy amount of no-hitters that have been going on recently. Yep. I know it's only been, 4? But 4 is a lot by
4 is a lot for the season, yeah.
Yeah, by May, it's a lot.
5, if you count Bumgarner's, it'll be 5, so.
I count. You know what? I'm going to count Bumgarner because he deserves to be for that to be counted.
Yeah, didn't let up a hit.
What is he going to? Yeah, didn't let up a hit. MLB, you want to call that a set? You want to call that a full game?
If it's a sanctioned game, then my thing of that. If you go 9 innings, there's been players that have taken a no hitter into the 10th. If you let up a hit in the 10th inning, should that count as a no hitter since you went 9 full innings with no hits? What's the difference?
So what happened? That actually happened to Pedro Martinez.
I think it happened to
It happened to Pedro, and Pedro ended up pitching the 10th and gave up a hit in the 10th.
Yeah, should that count? If he pitched the 9 innings, what's the difference?
100% he should. It should count. To be honest,
if Bumgarner's doesn't count, then Pedro should get one for going 9 without letting up a hit.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, and that's one of the many things we're going to be talking about tonight. It's just crazy how much is going on in this short period of time. I mean, you had our boy JT Realmuto randomly went on to an injured list today, but really not an injured list. It was a COVID list. And some are starting to think that it could be a manipulation.
Absolutely. I think absolutely it is. But they said,
you come back sooner
with a stomach bug. Yeah. Well, he took a foul tip off the straight kneecap. He got pulled from the game, and then all of a sudden,
and now he got COVID.
He got a stomach bug.
So what happened was, a foul ball can create COVID. I don't know if you know that or not. But
COVID-related death probably. Everything's COVID-related death. So if he died from it, it would 100% be COVID-related. But yeah, they're definitely manipulating the system there with a little bit.
1000%, dude. And then, so another thing I want to talk about, and we'll start off with this. This will be how we start the show off. We'll start off with Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns broke the record today with the most strikeouts before throwing his first throwing a walk.
Yeah, ridiculous. I think he wound up with like 58 before his first
58. And did he walk somebody today?
Yeah, he walked.
He did not walk in the next guy.
I think he came into the game with 49 with no walks.
Yes,
I believe. Then he had 9 Ks, no walks, and then finally walked somebody.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The last I saw was when he got the 58th strikeout.
Yeah, he walked someone right after that. 3-1 count. I forget who it was, but yeah, he did walk somebody.
What's crazy is during all that, he had like his last start, he got hurt in between this time and the last time he pitched. So that last start, he had like 5 3-ball counts and was able to work out of it and got strikeouts out of like 3 of them.
Yeah, it's not like he's pitching strictly to contact, which is crazy. Like he's striking out a ton of players. It's not like he's just throwing. He's just a heavy sinker guy that's just not worried about getting any strikeouts. Like he's punching people out at a ridiculous pace at the same time of not walking anyone. It's just something. Obviously, he's broke a record. It's never been done before.
And
ridiculous.
And then on the other hand, you have a guy like Garrett Cole, who has just been a freak of nature.
Yeah.
He has 2 walks all season.
Yeah, with 713 strikeouts. It's crazy.
Yeah,
he's going. He's stepped up to a different level than he
100%.
normally has, which is crazy to think about.
I would guess. I'm going to probably do a spoiler alert here that he's both of our starting pitchers for the American League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's very hard for him not to be.
Yeah, you can't I was going through it and trying to make some picks that weren't like mainstream picks, but it's like you can't deny what he's been doing. It's the same thing if DeGrom wasn't hurt right now. Like I tried staying away from him. So, but
how do you? Everyone in the world wants to see. And it's a shame because we all talk. I feel like the big thing is we all kind of want to fuck New York.
Yeah.
But right now, the best 2 pitchers in baseball both pitch in New York.
Yeah.
and I don't think it's really deniable.
Undeniable. No, it's undeniable at this point.
Yeah, it is what it is, and I love it. I love good pitching.
Yeah, so do I. Big fan of it.
So, like, if you're able to have 2 of them in the same city, that's huge for that city.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, not that New York needs anything ever, but when you have 2 of the best pitchers in baseball both pitching in New York, that's big for baseball.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like that's something that me and you have talked about on numerous occasions where we look at things and we go, well, that's good for baseball.
Yeah.
That's good for baseball. Having them 2 guys dominating is great.
It absolutely is. I mean, you gotta have big players in big markets. I mean, it just helps drive the game.
100%. And that's what they do. They both are huge in big markets. And I'm hoping we see DeGrom's his injury stint, just on the IL, and then he comes back and he's okay. It's a little bit scary where the injury actually is. So that's where I'm a little bit nervous with, is that like he's gonna come back and rush himself back because I feel like he did that because he left his start prior to last start.
Yeah. And
then came back and then ended up getting hurt again.
Well, yeah, and there's no structural damage, so that's a big problem. So it's like it's 100% a feel thing. They're not going to check it and be like, oh, it looks good to go. Like it already looks okay. It's just a feel. So you don't know if it's going to hurt again until you go through the motion, and you can't fake a real delivery.
No, and that's something big for him because he's a big time. Like I feel like he changed everything within and he had to, because there was a point in time where he just looked like he was just an okay pitcher.
Yeah, like he wasn't recruited. Like he had no hype whatsoever. He just came up, stole a spot, and just took off with it. Really.
I mean, to be honest, Zach Wheeler was supposed to be their he was supposed to be. And you know what? Not for nothing, he's pitching very, very well right now for the Phillies.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not going to ever put anything against him, but Zach Wheeler was supposed to be the guy, and then Matt Harvey was also supposed to be the guy there, but DeGrom just said, "Fuck this."
And Syndergaard, if anything,
Syndergaard,
yeah, Matz was super highly touted. Like,
yeah.
If anything, DeGrom, he was like the fourth guy probably,
and he ends up being the best pitcher in baseball.
in the generation.
Yeah, he's up there with like right now with like the top pitchers I've ever seen.
Yeah, he is. I don't mean going back to Pedro, Randy Johnson, like Kershaw is there, obviously. Verlander had some crazy years, but I feel like Verlander's a little overrated. Yeah, like for what these guys are doing with, like, they don't let up anything. Like, Verlander got hit around a little bit. He had a ton of strikeouts and stuff, but his like numbers weren't ever like too crazy. No. But it's like DeGrom's right there with Pedro, right there with the best of Kershaw's seasons. And it's like DeGrom just does it every year for the last 5 years. It's ridiculous.
And I think that's something that like really, really gets like put on the radar. Like, this dude is having a fucking monster career. And it's like, I'm not sure if it's being put on the radar, but like it's very like I feel like it's not being talked about nearly as much as like it did when guys like Pedro, like we just talked about, guys like Pedro, Greg Maddux, fucking Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, like guys like that, when they were putting on these shows, like people were just like, oh, like that's like they were fucking hyped. Now it was like absolutely Roger Clemens, like he's up there with them guys right now, and I don't think it's deniable. Like this dude is a fucking absolute beast.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like they're just they try to push like offense, obviously home runs, like bat flips. I get it, but like, what he's doing I don't know if it's comparable, but what Mike Trout does every year, like DeGrom's right there as a pitcher. Like he's pretty close.
I mean, I don't think that's. I mean, I would definitely put him up there with that. He's might be the pitching version of.
Yeah, at least for like the last 5 seasons he has been, because it's not like he just has like an off season. It's been consistent, and he's just getting better. Sure. He's just pumping 101 like with ease now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking sickening, to be honest.
Yeah,
but so Jarred Kelenic is getting called up. That is a huge deal because of everything that happened in the offseason. In the offseason, we found out, I don't know if anyone doesn't know, what happened with Jarred Kelenic in the offseason was, the general manager at the time made this big deal about saying like that about manipulation, how they literally are holding him down because they wanted to manipulate his contract.
Yeah, just completely out and open about it. It's business, I get it, but
it really seemed like the main reason that they held him down is because he did not want to give up his service time.
Yeah.
He didn't want to sign a
contract. Yeah, he said no.
Yeah, and he said no because he wasn't going to take the Odubel Herrera deal, the Scott Kingery deal. He wasn't going to take that small portion for that 3-year deal for $27 million or whatever the fuck it is, $30 million, whatever the fuck they want to talk. But like, they didn't have that. That was not the deal that they were, talking about with him. They were like, and they wanted to do that, but he was just like, nah, like
he's going to bet on himself. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's perfect because he knows deep down, like later on, he can make 10 times that.
At this point, if he plays to the caliber that he's going, like that he should, the contract by the time he's like eligible for it, it's going to be ridiculous. He's going to be looking at 10 years, $400 million easily. If he puts up the numbers that he's projected to put up anyway.
100%. And that's a given. We all know that. Yeah. Like he was, to be honest, if there was the service time bullshit didn't happen, he most likely would have started the season with the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, 100%. He would have been probably starting in their outfield day one.
And he's a guy that a lot of people had as, a possible AL Rookie of the Year. There's a lot of good players in the AL. There's a lot of good rookies who are going to be coming up in the AL. One being another guy in Wander Franco for the Tampa Bay Rays, who I assume is very, very close to making his debut as well. They all try to. Everyone wants to get past. Everyone wants to get past May or mid-May, because once mid-May happens,
they could be on a team for the rest of the season, and it doesn't count as a full.
Affect shit. Yeah, so they get to that certain point, and they don't have to fucking worry about it after that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sucks that these players are getting put on this. Me and you have definitely talked about this before. That sucks that they do this to players. But at the end of the day, It is a business. We
Yeah, it's a business
understand
move.
why they do it. And eventually what's going to end up happening is they're going to try to get rid of that, I would assume. But the biggest problem is the minor leagues does not have a union.
Yeah, and they don't really make shit either money wise.
So them not having a union means they don't have much representation because the major league baseball doesn't help them out that way because they know that they can manipulate their. No, if anything, they're helping their owners out.
Yeah.
In that sense, they're like, fuck them. We'll let them manipulate them, but our big league players are the ones who are going to end up getting paid. Absolutely. And I think that's a huge part of that. It definitely is. It's not like it's just me thinking. That is exactly what it is.
The part of it, yeah.
That is what it is. Is that they're trying to make sure that does never they just want to fuck the minor leagues. So what really needs to happen is the minor leagues need to figure out a way to get a union together,
some type of leverage, yeah.
So they can have some type of representation to help them. Because other than that, they're fucked, and they're going to continuously have this situation always occur. It'll always happen.
Yeah. And that's why I said earlier. Like I feel like these next couple of weeks are just going to be really exciting. In that fact alone, that all these manipulations should be over with by now, and you're just going to have these young studs who should have been up day one, just coming in all over the place on the in rotations and bullpens and everyday lineups. Like these next couple of weeks, I think teams are going to start, I guess, separating themselves. Like you'll see the kids make impacts, and Wander Franco has been the top prospect for 3 seasons since he's been 17 years old. Like he should make an impact every day, whether he goes to shortstop, second base. Like the Rays like to move a lot of people around, so he'll find a spot in the everyday lineup. And from all accounts and all the experts, his play backs it up. Like he should be the real deal. I'm excited.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, he's a switch hitter as well.
Yeah, he's switch hitter. He's not like a big guy, but I think he's 5'11" but he has pop. Like he does everything on the field. He's decent speed. I don't know if he's going to steal a ton of bases, but supposed to be good defensively. Like he should be the real deal from day one.
Well, if he's playing for the Rays, he most likely isn't going to steal any bases.
Yeah, but he'll probably be able to play 12 positions.
Yeah,
it's going to be great fundamentally.
He reminds me of a younger, well, obviously younger, but he reminds me of what's his name, Juan Moncada.
Okay.
Because Juan Moncada came up as a shortstop. Yeah. He ended up moving to third. He's going to be that guy who you're going to see him move around until they find a spot. But trust me, they're going to find a spot for this kid because he is supposed to be the best prospect in all of baseball.
He has been for 3 years since he's been 17. He's been number one prospect, undoubtedly number one, which is ridiculous for being that young. And now he's finally he got to come up at some point this season.
And I would assume, and especially with the Rays right now, where they. Realistically, they're going to want to compete. They're going to, and they always do. Every year they compete. Every year they make a push of some sort, and that could really be a huge push for them. I mean, my early season Cy Young, I did a thing on here with Dave Prince, who is a guy with the buzz. Me and him were on here, and we were giving our early season standings, who we think is going to do what, and I had Tyler Glasnow winning the Cy Young. He's pitching very, very well right now, but they're gonna need a shit ton more than just Tyler Glasnow. I love the way Kevin Cash thinks about baseball. I love that he, tries to figure shit out. So but a guy like Wander Franco, he's gonna figure out a way to make him as elite as possible.
Yeah, Wander Franco. I think Franco's going to push his hand too. It's going to be a no-brainer. We just got to figure something out.
And if I had to guess, he's most likely going to play third because I'm a big Willie. I was going to say I'm a big Willie Adames fan. I think he's offensively. He's not
defensively.
Yeah, he's not a great offensive bat, but he's definitely someone who can, somewhat hold his own in the bottom part of the lineup.
Yeah, and then he controls the field, man, defensively.
He is a stud. He's a stud shortstop. It's exactly what it needs to be. Up the middle is perfect for them. It's pretty good for them. I mean, you have him at shortstop, and then you have Kevin Kiermaier, who is by far the best defensive center fielder in all of baseball.
Yeah, it has been for a while.
Yeah, and he's another one. It's just they have just perfect defense for where they're at. I mean, last year was Mike Zunino. Wasn't a big fan of him at catcher. This year, I believe they have the kid who used to play for the San Diego Padres. Fuck's his name? Mejia. I believe Mejia is there now as their catcher. He's played a lot. From the last I saw, he was playing, but that's a great spot for him. But he is a solid defensive player as well.
Yeah,
not the best, but he's definitely someone who can catch the fucking baseball, which is really all what they need him to do.
Yeah, just control the game.
And I think after watching Zunino in the offseason, it was kind of rough watching him during the World Series because I just kept noticing he just fucking dropped the ball fucking constantly. It was almost like he couldn't handle a fastball.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes just get the yips, so I get that, but I love the way that he handles. I love the way that Kevin Cash handles things, and I think he's just going to find out a way to handle that position.
Yeah, I mean the Rays as an organization always figure shit out. So
yeah, and that's fucking key is being able to just handle it, and that's what he fucking does. So we will. You know what? Zunino also is with the Rays. He's still back with the Rays.
Still with them, yeah. I thought so, but it wasn't 100%.
And I thought he signed somewhere else, but you know what? He is back. He is there. And he's another one who is, again, he's a solid defensive player, but he's not great, but he's able to hold his own. What was the next thing I wanted to talk to you about? So we have, what was I going to say? We'll talk about what we can do our lineups. So what I wanted to do is talk about our early season, way too early season lineups, and for the All-Star game. So, Dan, you want to start off with? We'll start off with catcher.
Okay, going do all AL then all NL, or
we'll do AL and then we'll do NL then we'll do AL.
Okay,
all
NL,
right,
gotcha.
So catcher.
So NL catcher. As a Phillies fan, you think I'd go with Realmuto, but I feel like I have to give it to Carson Kelly at this point.
Okay.
Like his numbers across the board are better, not defensively, but his numbers across the board offensively in every statistic, I'm pretty sure are better in like 16 less plate appearances as well. Like he has what a 1096 OPS, a 191 WRC. Like that's like MVP numbers. So he has to start.
So, as your co-host on a Phillies podcast, you would think again. I would go with JT Realmuto.
I do have JT second.
I did not. I didn't even go Carson Kelly.
Who did you go with?
I went Buster Posey.
All right.
Buster Posey right now has a 1.7 F4, 8 home runs, and a 223 WRC plus.
223, goddamn.
And he has played every game behind the dish. For them. Yeah. Any game that he's played, behind the dish. Yeah. He's played 23 games behind the dish right now.
Yeah, I think Carson Kelly's played like 26 maybe. But his is a 191 WRC,
which is plus. Very good. Which is
ridiculous.
Very good. Yeah. And he's my second. So I don't even have really two right now. And hey, there's just guys who are out fucking performing him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm okay with that. I'm completely okay with going with Carson Kelly. He was my second guy. So we could go Carson Kelly there. In the AL, who do you have?
Salvador Perez. I feel like he.
I too have Salvador.
Unfortunately, dude, the AL's catchers are weak.
Yeah, no one had over. I think he led the league in WAR for them at a 0.08.
Yeah.
No one in the AL.
5 or 6 catchers in the NL that would make the spot.
Funnily enough, Mike Zunino actually has a 1 WAR, which actually F4, which actually leads AL catchers. He has a 121 WRC plus, which is why I didn't make him the starter. I made Salvador Perez the starter.
Yeah, his is what, 124?
124.
Yeah.
And he has 7 home runs as well. They both have damn, they're like extremely close.
They are, but
Zunino also has a 36.6 K percentage.
Just that's impressive.
And a 6.1 walk percentage.
God dang.
It just didn't make much sense for me to make Mike Zunino the starting catcher at that point. So we were able to agree there.
Yeah.
What about first base?
In the NL?
NL.
I have probably their only representative, Jesus Aguilar.
Okay.
But
why'd you go Jesus?
I mean, his numbers are he might because are they doing DH?
Is that why you didn't say Max Muncy?
Yeah. I have Max Muncy. I
would assume they go DH.
Alonso's there. Brandon Belt's even pretty close.
We'll change it. Change it up. So we can. I'll let you do a DH. We'll do a DH.
Then I would have Max Muncy at first base then. Jesus Aguilar would be
the DH.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's a slightly better defender.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would go Max Muncy.
I feel like the defense in the All-Star game, I mean, they don't really look for it too much. So
no, and that's no one really gives a shit because he's only probably going to play 2 or 3 innings anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. But the starter, I feel like it always mattered that you were the starter.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? Like I never really cared about if you made it.
Even if you get hurt and don't even play, like you were named the starter, that is a big deal.
100% it is. That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So I went Max Muncy.
Okay.
At first, I went Max Muncy as well.
Yeah, I had Muncy second. I thought about Pete Alonso, but I don't think he deserved it. Brandon Belt's been having a great season. I don't think he really deserves it.
I mean, Max Muncy's 23.8% walk rate is fucking insane right now.
Yeah, he's an on-base machine.
He's either home. It seems like he's putting the ball in play a ton. I mean, his average is 234, but his BABIP is 279.
Yeah.
So he's showing when he puts the ball in play, it's usually a hit.
Yeah.
Good amount of time, it's going to be a hit. A 155 WRC plus, which is fucking.
What's Aguilar's?
157.
Yeah.
And then Brandon Belt is third with a 139.
Okay, I know Brandon Belt's having a good season, but I just don't
fucking right.
He should be starting first base. But
no, he'll be a reserve.
Yeah, should be
100%. 100% will be a reserve. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I knew we were most likely going to agree there on that, but and we sort of did. Mm-hmm. But so, who do you have as for the AL?
AL first base. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of players with good numbers. I gave the nod to Vladdy Jr.
Yeah.
But I mean, right there is Yuli Gurriel's right there. Jarrett Walsh is right there. Like they're having crazy seasons, all of them.
Yuli Gurriel has a 182 WRC plus right now.
Yeah, he doesn't. No one talks about him at all. It's crazy.
No, I mean, no one wants to give Houston any credit for anything.
Which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. There's so many first basemen in the AL that first base in the AL is loaded. They have so many options you could have went with.
They also have Jarrett Walsh, who is literally the reason that Pujols got released.
Yeah, they were my top three. I had Vladdy, and you could go either one: Vladdy, Yuli Gurriel, and Jarrett Walsh. Then you have Matt Olson's in the world, and you have a bunch of studs down there.
Nate Lowe is actually having a really good year too with the Texas Rangers. In his 36 games, he has 6 homers. He's got a 141 WRC plus and a 1.1 F4. He is having a very, very good year offensively.
But if you take his first week out of that, he hasn't been good really at all. His first week was insane. He had 4 home runs, 14 RBIs in the first 5 games. He was going nuts. I think he might have came close to breaking a record for RBIs in 5 games or something. I mean, but yeah, he's still right there though. He's still having a good season.
Yeah, he's got an 859 OPS, 146 WRC plus. It's his K percentage being fucking 26.4, which is really the issue high for me here. Yeah, that's fucking high, and it's not good. So moving on to second base. For the AL, we'll start off with AL. I went with Nick Solak.
So did I. Swear to God.
I mean,
what's he have? His OPS is only what 796, but like
795.
795. He's having a great season, like across the board.
Except for his K rate again.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of like, especially young players now. You just don't give a shit if you strike out anymore.
Because in the long run, strikeout is still an out. It doesn't matter how either way,
and it's only one out. It's better than ground and double play.
You're right. It's crazily more of a beneficial out.
Yeah,
which people don't really talk about. People always look to strikeouts like, oh my god, I'm not going to deal with him striking out again. Yeah, but he didn't ground out. He didn't. He only made one out. So
could have been worse.
But I went with Nick Solak.
I mean, Marcus Simeon's right there.
He doesn't have the best K to walk ratio. I mean, it's a 0.28, which is actually brutal, to be honest.
It's not good at all, but
it's actually as low as the entire Detroit Tigers team. The Detroit Tigers have a walk. I think they have a K to walk ratio at like 0.20
as a team.
As a team, they have the worst.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's fucking miserable. I don't know how they even were able to pull that off. The Phillies have like the 26th, by the way, if you were wondering.
No, I'm not surprised.
At like 0.31 or something like that, which is brutal. But so Nick Solak,
I had him too. Yeah,
he was both.
And Simeon, I had Simeon right there as like my secondary.
Your reserve, sort of. So for the NL was tricky.
It was.
Mainly because I tried to set like a plate appearance number.
Okay.
And my plate appearance number was 80. And this guy ended up being right there at 80 in Jazz Chisholm.
He was I mean, going to the later in this, he would have been my NL Rookie of the Year. But like, when's he coming back? Does he have enough plate appearances? But for second, he would also been my second base. And I will go with Adam Frazier from Pittsburgh.
Adam Frazier he has the most plate appearances.
Not much to choose from in NL second base.
No, and a very
Segura.
And Segura was somebody who I was given a big nod to. He has an 838 OPS. Doesn't walk ever, which is very frustrating.
So he is, but it is frustrating.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. But he also has a 349 batting average, which kind of is able to push that aside a little bit. But a 127 WRC plus, not don't hate that. That's solid. It's exactly where you want your.
Frazier's is 128, so it's the same thing.
Yeah,
Frazier's on base is 380, which is good.
Dude, Jazz Chisholm is right now. His OPS is 926.
Yeah, he's crushing.
He's got a 551 slug right now.
Yeah, that's the second baseman's ridiculous.
He has
anybody's ridiculous.
And here's that K rate again. He's got a 31.3 K rate.
It's insane. And he's having a great year.
But a 155 WRC plus.
Yeah, it's a fucking stud. It's impressive that people strike out that much and still are putting up amazing 100%. Numbers.
So we'll go to third base. That's usually how I do it.
Okay.
I know some people like to go
shortstop.
Shortstop. I'm going to go to
because the numbers
technically,
guy.
I'm a numbers guy. Technically, that is the last position in the infield.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the third base position. Again, this is a spot that I don't really think is really disputable.
In the NL?
In the NL.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page then.
It's Chris Bryant.
Absolutely. You can't talk your way out of him at this point. His numbers this year are insane.
Even though Chris Bryant has more starts in the outfield than he does in the infield.
Yeah. That's why I had Justin Turner should be talked about. I mean, I know Arenado's numbers aren't his typical numbers, but they're playing great baseball. Like, he's playing good enough.
He is.
But I mean, I had Chris Bryant at third too.
Chris Bryant right now
Chris just asked if Scott Kingery is making the All-Star team. Not this year, not yet.
I want to see Brian in Philly as well, but
I wish we could have made that happen.
But there's a lot of things that will negate them from doing that. One, I don't want to see them trade Bryson Stott. I don't want to see them trade prospects that I don't really want to see them trade Spencer Howard yet either. I think he's still somebody who they can grow with. Again, this is something the three of us will talk about later on during the Diamond Club podcast. But Chris Bryant, by far, right now, is the best offensive weapon at third base right now.
Yeah,
when he plays the third base position.
Yeah, I mean he does play a lot in the outfield, but I like even in the MLB, like I still think they're going to slate him as a third baseman.
Yeah, he's got in 140 plate appearances, he's got a 12.1 walk percent. He's got a 23.6 K. There it is again, and he's got a 0.52 walk to K. Not bad, very good actually. His slash line is 308, 400, 650
for 1050.
That is a 1050 OPS.
Yeah, and a 180 WRC. Like that's fucking
stupid.
Yeah, it's unreal.
If you're able to put, and the one thing I will say, if he is to come to Philadelphia, 100% of that has to do with Bryce Harper.
Yeah,
him and Bryce Harper are boys. They're both Vegas kids. That's something that they have in common. It would be a match made in fucking heaven.
Yeah, I mean, if they could pull that off without trading a Stott,
because I just don't see that being a thing.
No, me neither.
It's going to be very, very difficult for them to trade Chris Bryant without asking for the best offensive prospect the Phillies have, and that's Bryson Stott.
Yeah, it would be almost impossible. You would have to give up Howard without a doubt.
Yeah,
I don't even know if they would want Maton, but he would probably have to be a part of it just because he's MLB ready.
Yeah, and this is the thing with Dave Dombrowski is Dombrowski does not give a fuck about prospects.
Yeah, he'll do that. Yeah, he'll start unloading all kinds of people.
Yeah, you want as many Harper guys around as possible, and Bryson Stott is one of them.
He's his little brother, pretty much. So, but yeah, let's save that shit for.
Yeah, so we will. So Chris Bryant is both of our starters in the National League for third base.
Yep.
Seemed like it was pretty fucking simple there. AL.
I'll let you go first.
I went with my Boston Red Sox third baseman, Rafael Devers.
Yeah, so he has the best numbers. You can't really. I'll go with. I do have him written down, but I figured you were going to take them. I'll take Jose Ramirez. He's not far off offensively. Fine with me. And you know what? That's pretty much right there.
Yeah, they're exactly. They're right there. Devers walks more. No, he doesn't. Yeah, a little bit. 0.2% more he walks. Slash line 279, 358, 574 is all better than Jose Ramirez.
Yep. That's why I want you to go first. Take him.
He's got a higher WRC plus than him. He's raking right now.
Yes, he is. And their team's on fire. So
their team is hitting well.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you this right now, he is not the only Boston Red Sox you will see on my starting lineup. Now that we were added to DH.
Okay. Yeah, I do have the DH for the AL, and I specifically left off who you were going to put on there because I had Devers, and then we'll see what else happens. But yeah, I'll take Jose Ramirez, and I mean Bregman's there. There's some decent choices. Bregman's not having the best season, but I mean he's fucking Alex Bregman, so
100%. Yeah,
but you know players what? Out there.
It's funny. The thing with Alex Bregman is I hated him, literally hated him, and this is before the bullshit with the fucking trash cans and all that stuff. I also don't really care about that either. That's something I don't really even give a fuck about. Like, I don't care. Every team fucking still signs.
Tries
every
to do
team
something,
cheats. It's not really cheating when you're trying to find an edge. Baseball is one of those sports that you need to find an edge.
Yeah, and everyone's trying to steal signs. Like, that's what the fuck signs are for.
It wasn't. Yeah, exactly. Like,
the whole reason of signs is because that's part of the game is to steal them.
You're doing code to try to figure.
You can decipher that shit. Like, yeah,
good on you.
Exactly.
Like, but that's just what it is. That is again conversation for another time, I guess, though, because I do have a lot of topics. We have not much time. So Devers is my third baseman.
I'll go.
Jose Ramirez is yours. Okay. So shortstop in the AL. My Boston Red Sox, Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, I have him too. You can't his numbers are stupid.
Yeah, it's 956 OPS. He's got a 165 WRC plus. The dude is just fucking raking.
Yeah,
32 ISO. His walk decay, not great. I mean, it's better than
there's
most.
not many. Yeah, there's not many good
0.42.
ones at this point.
Yeah, you're not really finding that plus number anymore at the walk decay, but it is what it is. He's at less than 20%. He's got a 17.2 K, which is not bad. 7.3 walk, but he just rakes, so it really doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, he's a 956 OPS, 165 WRC.
He's another one.
Stud numbers. Yeah,
that's him.
I mean, you got Bo Bichette, Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one's going to get in that spot unless
he
falls off. Yeah, he deserves it at this point. It's undeniable.
100%. So I'll move on to the shortstop for the NL. I went Trey Turner.
So did I. I also went Trey Turner. He's having the best season. There's a ton of good shortstops in the NL, and none of them are really playing too well. Trevor Story's turned it on lately, but he doesn't deserve it if you look at the numbers. Lindor, definitely, he's been terrible. All the big name ones haven't been that good.
Josh Rojas was the only other one who
his WRC is high.
Yeah,
both Rojas has been good this year.
He's got an 883 OPS as well.
Yeah,
it's very, very good. He's playing well with a 140 WRC plus, which is only 4
really
points,
good.
Which is only 4 points lower than Trey Turner's.
Yeah.
He's playing well, and he's most likely my reserve right now. Another disclaimer here is we know that it's voted on. So these are the guys who we think deserve it.
Yeah.
95% of the time, it's going to just go to whoever the most popular fucking players are.
Exactly.
So most likely Fernando Tatis or Francisco Lindor is going to start at shortstop.
Yeah, and they don't deserve it at this point.
And you know what? It's not even that I don't think not Francisco Lindor. It's not Tatis. Fernando Tatis is having a good year.
Yeah, he was injured. He's running the bad luck.
But is he the best? No. Right now, he's not the best. He's not the best, but he does have the third highest WRC plus.
He's not having a bad season, so I think Trey Turner deserves it more. But at the end of the day, Tatis probably is going to start.
It's going to start. 100%.
Yeah, he's going to get his votes are going to be through the roof.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll start with right field.
Okay. I don't know. I did outfield.
Did you just do 3 outfielders?
Yeah, but I can put them in the positions, so it doesn't really matter.
All right. So, you know what? I'll just do 3 outfielders. How about that? I'll do 3 outfielders.
Yeah, either way.
I'll change it up.
Hold on, let me see.
So
pretty much can put them wherever.
All right. So this is what I'll do. I went Ronald Acuna.
Yeah, you can't not have.
This is the NL, by the way.
Yeah,
Ronald Acuna. He'll be my center fielder.
Yeah, that's why this is cool.
At a 175 WRC plus and a fucking 1043 OPS. Yep. I don't think it's fucking disputable.
It's not debatable at all.
Right field, Bryce Harper.
Same. I mean, all 3 of my guys are over a 1,000 OPS. They're 175 wins run, WRC 172 and 195. I don't know if you had the 3 team players.
I also had Jesse Winker.
Yeah, exactly. But outfield is such a broad position that you could go so many ways. But this year, right now, you can't.
And then my DH, and then I'll just finish it off with my DH is Nick Castellanos.
I have him as my outfield reserve. So
he'll be my DH for the National League.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue numbers, and you try to go out of the stereotypical players, but you can't argue them 3 outfielders at this point.
It is what it is there. American League.
Okay. All right. We shouldn't even count Trout. It's impossible.
So we'll name the other 2.
Yeah.
Byron Buxton.
Well, yeah. I didn't put him on there just because of injuries. I don't know how long. Does he deserve it? Yeah.
Right now.
But again, I was trying to go out of the box a little bit.
They're saying he's going to miss weeks.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, if the season, I mean, he deserves it. He's been on par pretty much with Trout this year. So I have no problem with that.
You know what? I'll take him off. I'll take him off because of injuries.
All right. So Trout's obvious. I mean, everyone knows anything. Like, you don't have to know shit. He's having an unbelievable season. He has a 216 WRC, 1150 OPS. Like, these numbers are just not normal.
No, but a 355 fucking average, 477 on base percentage, and a 673 OPS. I mean,
slug. Yeah.
Stupid.
Can't argue. That's you do that for 5 seasons. You're in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know if you have
10.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if you have this player as well, but Adolis Garcia.
Adolis Garcia. I do have Adolis Garcia. He actually was my 4 because I didn't know how you were going to play Buxton. Yeah. So now he moved in.
Yeah.
And here's one that I hope that you say, but you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if you didn't because he plays for the fucking Orioles. Cedric Mullins.
Yeah, I have Mullins.
He deserves to be on that team.
891 OPS, 150 WRC. Yeah, Mullins was my third one.
And Aaron Judge is probably going to be. Aaron Judge would have been like my 4th guy right now.
Yeah. I wrote down 5th extra players. Well, 6th because I put Mitch Haniger on there. He probably doesn't deserve it, but I feel like he's the same player every year, and he's just a really good player. His numbers are pretty good, but like Michael Brantley, Stanton, if you count him as an outfielder, he's more of a DH. Judge, Laureano, and Marcano, like they all are on the border.
100%.
Yeah, I mean Mullins, Garcia, and Trout were my 3. I left Buxton off because of the injury, but yeah, he would be on there.
My DH
is your boy.
Is Just Dingers Martinez.
Just Dingers Martinez
is my with a 182 WRC plus. He's got a 1032 OPS. My guy who I said who was right there if there wasn't
Alvarez.
Just Dingers.
No, was it Alvarez? I had Alvarez.
No, it was German Mercedes.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah, I got him as my 3rd one because I left JD off completely because I knew you were going to pick him and he deserves it. He's going to get it, but then I went with Alvarez. But yeah, Mercedes been unreal too, and he's just kept it going. It's not like he fell off.
So he has a 376 average, a 419 on base, and a 587 a slugging, which is a 1006 OPS. He has a 15.4 K percentage right now, which is
ridiculously low for what you would expect from a player like him too.
Yeah, which is why I didn't put Yordan as my 2nd guy. I put him there because, I mean, right now Yordan Alvarez has a pitiful K to walk at 0.13.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like 1 in 8.
He has a 3.1 walk rate and a 24.4 K rate.
Yeah.
So he literally either homers or strikes out.
Yep.
He does not walk.
His numbers are crazy. Like, he has a 180 WRC with that strikeout. It's like that's fucking nuts.
He is not and he's got a 347 average right now.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
So his outs are usually just strikeouts.
Yeah.
If you can strike him out, that's the only way you're getting him out.
If he hits the ball, he's going to be running around the bases.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a 415 BABIP, which, if anyone doesn't know what BABIP is,
it's high, but
it's a batting average for balls hit in play. So he just has a 400 batting average if the ball's even hit in play.
Yep.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it is. Not like giving the defense a chance to play defense.
No, it's
test missiles right all over the field.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking stupid to even think that that's like legal.
Attainable. Yeah. And he's just like a career 1,000 OPS. So it's like 163 games, something like that. But
yeah, I saw
he's just a freak.
I saw a comparison, and I forget who the comparison was with him at this point in their career. Oh, it's Albert Pujols.
Was it Pujols?
There was a side by side.
Oh yeah. It was the other day, and their numbers were similar. I think it was like Alvarez had a couple more homers and like 20 more RBIs or something like that, but like pretty much mirror images of each other.
Yeah. So and pitchers, we talked about this earlier. Our pitchers
have to go Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole for the AL. Garrett Cole has been a fucking freak of fucking nature.
Yeah.
It's almost not even like
it's video game numbers. It's ridiculous.
Garrett Cole currently has in 52.2 innings, he has a 13.33 K per 9. He's got a 0.51 walk. That 0.51 walk is literally 3 walks in 52 innings. He has a 1.37 ERA, a 161 xERA. He's got a 1.10 FIP and a 1.93 xFIP. They are stupid, and a 2.8 F4.
Yeah, them FIP numbers don't make sense. And a 2.8 F4s through how many starts? 8?
Through 8 games started.
Jesus. That's crazy.
He is a stupid fucking video game. And
I wish I could do it in the show.
I hate that he's a Yankee.
Yeah, it sucks.
But I love it for baseball that he's a Yankee, if that makes any sense.
It does, because it makes like the Yankee hatred even go higher. Like it builds for the evil empire that you like.
Yeah, and you need that. You need people to fucking hate.
You don't want the Yankees to stink. That's not good for baseball.
No, it is not. So Jacob deGrom, barring injury,
I stayed away from him just to not pick him. That's the only reason.
I'll take him just because of. But if I had to put like an asterisk and say like, if not him, it's Brandon Woodruff.
That's who I have. And that was my starter.
Brandon Woodruff has an 11.13 K per 9. He's got a fucking 1.64 ERA, a 2.43 xERA, 2.27 FIP, and a 2.66 xFIP. While we're talking about that, though, I want to go to Jacob deGrom's numbers in those 6 starts that he has. And I want to remind everybody that he has a 6.8 ERA, a 0.68 ERA, 0.68 ERA, a 1.63 xERA, a 1.02 FIP, and a 1.71 xFIP. That is a 2.3 F4.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. While 2 of the games he was injured.
And we just talked about video game numbers from
Garrett Cole.
Guy.
Yeah, and he's matching them.
And he has a 4.63 K per 9. A 14.63. A 14.63 K per 9. That is stupid.
Yeah. And then his lat's been bothering him from 2 starts now. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and he was still and the pitches that he was able to throw in the last start, he still looked good.
Yeah, he's still dominating.
With a hurt lat, he's still better than every pitcher in baseball.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
It's not fair. But before I go any further, this is way later than I usually do this. But I do want to take a quick second to pause and do where are they at? And do the little intro for the things for the buzz for all the different shows we have here, all the buzz, the live shows that we have here for the buzz. I do want to do a little promo for that, so here you go.
War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them I'm ready, any opponent. The crown heavy and every minute is chosen. A path only fit for kings, and you won't know what this court means. What did you enlist for? If it isn't getting more rings, then you gon' have to switch your team. Trust me, it gets more mean. I'm a nightmare going up against your dreams. First step is explosive like a bomb hit. Bet if I let it fly, I cannot miss. And you ain't got a chance at the top 10 when you getting clamped all night by your locksmith. On the block, throwing lobs to my top bigs. I'm a chef, no look, what's the top dish? Tie game, through the pressure as the clock ticks. Crossover, step back, hit a shot, swish.
That's all the stuff for the buzz. Go on their Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Go follow them. Go follow everything we have. They have articles, obviously podcasts, stuff like that. Go on there. Go follow everything they have. And also, I do want to tell you about the fastest growing construction company in the tri-state area. That's Garrett Group Construction. GGC is available to service all of your construction needs. They specialize in gut rehabs, basements, bathrooms, and kitchens. Choose Garrett Group Construction, the official sponsor of the Frozen Road podcast. Call today for a free estimate, 267-262-1660. Once again, that's 267-262-1660. There is no job too big or too small. Shout out Joey Garrett, and thank you for all you do. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was the umpires. There has been some brutal umpiring going on as of recent, and it's a shame because I am not we need the
robot umps.
The robot. I hate when people talk about robot umps. One, I'm a union guy. I hate hearing people try to take human jobs and make them into fucking computer jobs. Yeah. I hate that. That's all that's going to do is fuck things up. I can only imagine. I think I brought this up to Chris on our podcast, on our other podcast about this, how I think that it's stupid because what happens if there's a glitch? What happens if something like that? And we're literally shut down and there's no way.
Roll out another fucking robot or
fix
the machine that's behind the plate. Like,
And what if they just aren't calling? What if there's a glitch on just the bottom half and they're not calling strikes past a certain point? Like, don't get me wrong, these are crazy hypotheticals, but it's shit you have to think about.
Absolutely is.
And
what would they do? Like, how would they determine it? Like,
what do they do? What do you do there? Because
they shoot a laser and fucking like how the hell do you like? I have no idea how they would do it.
And this is something that I bring up a lot. You've played the show, right?
Yeah.
So in the show, there's times where the video game misses strikes.
Yeah, I mean you can. I get it. I get it.
Your
setting on that.
I get it. You're trying to make it. I get it. You're trying to make it as real as possible.
Yeah.
But when a video game is going that far,
yeah, when it has to actually be realistic and fucking make no sense, then yeah, it's like what do you like? Like that's how bad the umpiring is. That the video game has to try to mimic it as realistic as possible.
Yeah,
it's like what the fuck.
And I can listen, and I understand that. I understand that there's going to be, but like I think that there's certain things that need to happen. Do they need robot umpires? No. Mm-hmm. What they do need is to address the certain umpires.
Yeah.
I don't think they need Angel
specifically.
So Terry Francona is by far my favorite manager in all of baseball. He will always be. He always has been. I root for him. I will root for him no matter where he's at. He brought my Red Sox 2 World Series, so obviously I fucking love him.
Yes.
He's not somebody who usually is fucking like known as like this, angry,
outspoken, yeah.
He went up to Angel Hernandez and said, "Why does it always have to be you? Like, why does this shit always happen when you're umping?" I mean, that's
he's
something that
consistently just absolutely terrible. Like he's in just the general baseball world. Like he's a known meme. Like he's just when he's behind the plate, it's like might as well get the camera out because we're sending this shit all over Twitter. It's just that bad.
So I looked at that game, the game that he was known at. I follow this guy on Twitter. His name is the scorecards. Shout out to him because he does a great job. It's great content, and he grades the umpires, and it's phenomenal. So in that game, for actually the first time ever, I don't think Angel Hernandez really deserved the criticism.
Yeah.
So the average MLB umpire overall accuracy is 94%. Angels in that game was 92. Not bad. That's fucking what, 4, maybe 3 really missed calls.
Yeah, I mean, if the average is 94, 92 happens all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're like I'm not like that's pretty much evening out the average.
Close to the average. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
His overall consistency was 96%. The average overall consistency
has to be lower than that, right?
It's 96%.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good game. That's an MLB average game.
He had an average umpire game.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, He probably didn't deserve the backlash he got.
Yeah.
So what they also do is the guy grades each thing. So overall, he actually was in the Cleveland Indians' favor. Or the Cleveland baseball team. I don't know what we call them now. But the Cleveland Indians, they were in the Cleveland Indians' favor.
Yeah.
He was actually plus 0.4 runs for them. He missed probably his worst calls in terms of a change in run expectancy. The top of the sixth, Singer to Bowers, 1 out, bases loaded, bases empty, a 3-0 count. He caught a ball. Ball is called a strike. It is what it is. It happens all the time. And that was, and if you're watching this on YouTube, that's where the ball was that he called a strike.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah,
not bad at all.
If it's like you're a couple times a game, it's not bad.
Wait, never mind. I read that wrong. That was where the ball that he called a strike.
I mean, yeah, it's a little worse, but
it was outside. Bottom of the first, Bieber to Santana, 1 out, runner on third, a 0-0 count. A strike is called a ball. Just a fucking random strike. And it was the ball, the second pitch.
Mm-hmm.
It says a strike is called a ball. It was a little outside. I understand. It was inside to where Santana would be. And then top of the third, Singer to Hernandez, 1 out, runners on first and third, 0-0 count, ball is called a strike. So his worst three calls were literally just balls and strikes, and it wasn't really that bad.
Yeah.
The worst umping by far was by Jeff Nelson in a 4-2 game from the New York Mets versus the Arizona Diamondbacks, where the Arizona Diamondbacks lost to the Mets 4-2. His overall accuracy was 86%. Like I said earlier, the average is 94. Overall consistency. What did I tell you that that it was 96%?
96. Yeah.
His overall consistency was 69%.
Nice. Jesus.
Literally awful.
Yeah. How's that? That's.
He actually called a ball right there a strike.
What the fuck is that?
The ball hit the ground.
Yeah, the old 58-foot curveball, strike 2.
And he called it a strike.
Oh man,
He called
awful.
He called 45 of 58 true strikes correctly.
45 of 58.
So that's 13 strikes that were true strikes that he called incorrect.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He called 92 of 101 true balls correctly. Once again, that's 9 balls that he just missed.
So he had 22 calls that were wrong. Like, that's terrible.
22 true calls wrong.
That's not good.
Out of 159 pitches, he missed 21. When you say it like that, it sounds a lot worse. It sounds a lot better, but it's still terrible.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what needs to be done. Like, I get it. Pitcher stuff is better now. It's everything's harder. Everything moves now. It's definitely harder to judge, but like it just has to be better. Like, you just got to do a better job.
Like, it's just guys like that are making people not want them to
People,
like they don't
humans, yeah. Like,
so
the last couple of Phillies games were so bad. Like, the last couple of Phillies games alone were awful, and I feel like and kind of in the Phillies' favor too.
Dan, it's like you set things up on a tee for me to hit them.
There you go.
So Hunter Wendelstead was the umpire for a 12-2 Phillies win over Atlanta. 88% overall accuracy. That's not at the 94. Obviously, is the regular. 86% overall consistency. 96%. He almost gave the Phillies a full run.
Yeah,
0.9 overall favor was plus 0.97 for the Phillies.
Yeah, and most of them a lot of them calls were in the inning. The Phillies started with 6 runs. Started the game with 6 runs, and it was just over from that point. So I know it says 0.97, but for momentum purposes, he handed us 6 runs to start the game.
18 of 133 balls were inside the established strike zone.
18 of them.
161 called. 161 of 183 taken pitches were called correctly.
So 22, he missed that. Jesus, he missed 40 calls. 40 total pitches. Like, nah, let's go the other way with that one. Like, that's
120 of 133 true balls were called correctly. That is 90%. That's 90%.
Yeah.
41 of 50 true strikes were called correctly. Like, hell, and the fact that the Phillies were able to benefit from it, like, and it's a shame because, like, we, like, obviously, as people who live in Philadelphia, you know, we always hear about people saying that the umpires and the refs and they all are against us.
Yeah.
This is the one game for them that they can't say that, and it didn't even fucking matter. The Phillies still technically Hunter Wendelstead gave them a run, and they won. They still won by 10.
Yeah.
So the one game that they didn't need him to help them out with, he did.
Yeah. But like, even watching that game live, I'm like, Jesus, like this is not good. Like Harper could have struck out looking on 3 pitches. It was 3-0 count. He winds up walking. Like, yeah,
it's
just bad calls all over the place. But
100%.
But like, I don't know what the solution is there. I don't know if you have to have like you got to talk to those guys as on a union level and like, listen, you need to do better. And instead of we all have different fucking strike zones, let's try to really focus on a general strike zone instead of it being individual. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you do to move, like, make it better.
So, and I'll tell you what, it's not just a problem at the pro level.
Oh,
this is a problem that I'm currently going through right now at the high school level, where, yes, right now I'm coaching JV at the prep, and JV only gets one umpire.
Yeah.
Which that in its own right blows.
It's impossible.
Then when you have so I had a game yesterday, and this is a true fucking conversation I had with an umpire. The ball was thrown, right? The strike, a pitch was thrown here where the batter's at, thrown at the hands. Ball was called a strike by the umpire. I said, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
The umpire's answer back to me, it was at the hands.
What?
I know. That's why I'm arguing it.
Especially that's so stupid because every batter has different hand placement. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
This batter, his hands were here.
Yeah, so his hands are at his chin. Yeah.
And your excuse to me is it's at his hands. Yeah, man, I get that. That's why I'm arguing this.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why I asked you if you were a little bit serious.
And then right after this, right after a clear, like, and it's not just balls and strikes, a clear balk where a home plate umpire can see this. It's a lefty. Yeah. Lefties are tricky. There are tricky things to call balks on. Mm-hmm. This kid literally stepped all the way forward and then threw the ball to first.
I feel like that doesn't get called in the MLB a lot too.
And we were stealing
on first movement, yeah. Or
runner's going. We said make sure he's going home. When
so it wasn't even first movement. Yeah, okay.
No, this was make sure.
Yeah, and he's going forward and he's going off, and then he picks him off.
And he picked him off. And then the first baseman throws over to second. A high throw. And my runner gets underneath the tag, and he calls him out. I said, no way.
Yeah, all kinds of shit wrong there.
The umpire then looks at me and goes, come on, coach, that was an easy one. I went, I know, he's out.
Oh, man.
You fucking moron.
Yeah, he should have been able to walk the second base.
But this is where we're at in all of baseball.
Yeah.
And
it's a problem, definitely.
So how do you tell Major League Baseball? And I get it. Major League Baseball is where the money's at. So these kids are supposed to come up this way and then go to the major leagues and everything's a true strike.
Yeah.
No, you can't. How do you train for that. You can't. And we talked about this last week in our podcast, I believe. No, you weren't there. So me and Chris were on there, and his one buddy, that dude TKN Rises, was commenting on it, and he said something like, "Well, the umpires are 93% in the minor leagues with the semi-robot umpire, right?" It's something like that. I think they're doing semi-robot umpire or some bullshit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
In the one league, yeah.
In the one league, they are.
Yeah, like
they're 90. They're 90. They are 92% with robot umpires.
So what's the difference?
There isn't one.
Yeah,
there isn't one. So there is no fix.
Yeah,
At this point, keep the human who can make the right call if needed.
Yeah, and I just feel like it. I mean, people don't talk about it, but I really feel like it has something to do with the pitching. Like it's different. Like the people's like, no one really throws a true four-seamer anymore. Like everything moves all over the place. Like it's just everyone throws harder. Like the pitcher, batter has a tough time to react. Their strikeouts are going up. Obviously, the fucking batters don't know where the ball is going better now than they do either. It's like, I don't know. I just don't know what you do going forward to make it any better. And it's like at this point, do you just tell everyone to shut up and just like keep
deal
going
with it? Yeah.
Like,
it's amazing. The thing that bothers me though isn't even the strikes. It's not the the missed balks, the stuff like that. What's bothering me,
the accountability,
is the replay.
Well, yeah, I mean it's useless at this point. If you're not going to change shit,
because you're not changing anything.
Yeah.
And the one time they actually changed something and got it right, everyone bitched about it.
Yep.
Which was the Rhys Hoskins home run.
Yep.
That wasn't a home run.
Yep.
But people bitched about it and said that it was. It was because they called it on the field the first time a home run. Okay. Well, they went and replay and they got it right.
Yeah.
Because trust me, the Phillies stole a win 3 weeks or 2 weeks prior to that with Alec Boom.
Yeah.
They didn't cross home plate. It still hasn't crossed home plate.
Nope.
So that's for that.
The replay has been an absolute joke too. And if anything, it's more frustrating than the balls and strikes because it's implemented for a reason and it's just not being used. Because I get it, it's the union. They don't want to throw each other under the bus. You can't call each other out, and then it's kind of tough. Like and a lot to do with it now. It's so much like easier to criticize because every single broadcast now has the strike zone. Like it used to just be like the ESPN Sunday night game. Every game has the strike zone now. You have the 3D, like it goes around the batter's box and see if it clips the plate. Like you have social media now. Like it's so much more criticized now because everyone gets to see that to do a bad job. But go look fucking 30 years ago and look at Greg Maddux. He got calls all over the place every single game. Like it's not like it's worse than it used to be. It's just it's like amplified more because if everyone has access to it.
100%. And that's what it is. That's all it is it's amplified because people have more access.
Yep.
It's just like I said, it's more frustrating that they're not like if a call deserves to get reversed,
they're scared to reverse it. Yeah.
They are because they don't
look bad.
And I understand that, but then don't use reviews.
Yeah, the NFL overturns them all the time. They're at the point where they don't give a shit. Like if you fucked up, my bad. Like
because if anything, all they'll do is make you is keep reviews. At this rate, what they're going to end up doing is taking away umpires in general.
Well, yeah, that
so
too.
If you start reversing them and start getting the call right, they'll just keep it at reviewing.
Yep.
And that is as deep as it'll get.
I agree.
But we do have to talk about one more thing. The great Albert Pujols, the machine.
Yeah. Albert Pujols. I can't believe we're at that stage of our lives where he might not play again.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because he's 49 years old, probably technically.
Reality, yeah.
In Dominican years, it's kind of like dog years.
Is he 43?
Yeah.
On paper?
On paper, he's 41. And by on paper, I mean a
the
crayon
the one the Cardinals made.
It's on crayon with his picture, and it just says I am 40. I am 41.
I'm 41. Yeah. I'm a 41-year-old machine.
They're trying to pass this guy off as 41. I don't see it.
I'll take the word for it.
But what a career he has had.
I mean, yeah, he was the Mike Trout before Trout. Like his number, he just an absolute freak every season to the point where it was like this guy has to be on steroids, but he was just a machine.
We
might have took something. Well, yeah, might have helped him go through the minors a little bit better. But you can't deny his career.
I can't.
No one should.
I was a huge Albert Pujols fan growing up. I will always be an Albert Pujols fan. He deserves all the accolades in the world.
Yes,
he had his time with St. Louis. I mean, in even his first year with LA and his fourth year with LA were his best two, but he still is one of
his St. Louis years. I mean, that 10, 11-year stretch was the best, up there with top 5 best stretches ever.
So I'm gonna read you off,
and not to mention he got that contract with the Angels, and he didn't like follow through with it what you wanted. But how old was he? How old was he when he signed that deal? Like, do we know he was 31 or was he 35 already? And like,
so his time with St. Louis from 2001 to 2011, he had a 13. This is just the whole period. Yeah. He had 445 home runs. He had a 311 BABIP. He had a 328, 420, 617 slash line, which is a 1.037 OPS. He had a 13.1% walk rate with a 9.5% K rate, which is 9.5% K rate in 10 years.
He never struck out 100 times, right? In his career, I think he's only struck out like 80 times twice,
which is unfucking believable. His K to walk was 1.38. We haven't seen someone higher than 4.4.
Yeah, 0.4. Right, we're talking about like 0.13s for great players.
We're talking 28 games into the year right now, where
like you said, Jordan Alvarez was
those numbers can be inflated.
Yeah,
those numbers can be inflated right now, where 3 good stretches could make you have a 1. This dude did it in 10 straight years. He had a 1.38. 1 year, he literally had a 1.93, and that was in 2008. 1.93. He
pretty much doubled. Doubled his.
He almost had double the amount of walks that he did strikeouts.
Yeah, it's insane.
What
was his career high in strikeouts? 80s, right? Low 80s, maybe. I don't think he's ever had 100, did he? Maybe a late Angels season.
93.
93 was his highest.
And he did that twice in his first season and in 2017.
Yeah, which is insane. He's never had 100 strikeouts. Now a lot of players approach 200 at this point.
His highest after that is 76.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like even when he fell, like that's what I'm saying. How old was he really? Because it's not like he didn't start striking out a ton. Like he was just breaking down as a human. Like he just wasn't in his prime anymore. I feel like he was a couple of years past where we thought he was. Like he's probably 44-ish right now. So a decline 6 years ago at 38 would make a lot of sense. A decline 8 years ago at 36 would make a lot of sense.
One year, the weirdest thing about him though. So from 2001 to 2011, he accumulated 81.3 F4. 81.3
10 years. Yeah.
So from 2012 to this year, he accumulated 5.7.
Yeah, because he was old as shit. No one knew. 5.7.
How wild is that? And realistically, if he had the same amount in his first year, and if he had 81 is what I said.
If he had a quarter, if he had a quarter of that and had 20 more,
he'd have over 100.
Yeah, it's insane.
At 41 years old.
Yeah, I'm saying my claim is that he's just everyone knows he's older. Like it's a proven fact that players from areas like that blatantly lie to give himself a couple years because it was a fact and like proven that millions of dollars difference between a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old. Like I feel like we all just think like, oh, he was washed up when he was 32, or he was 36. Like it's a big difference.
Is that the biggest decline ever?
How? Yeah, he went from literally the best 10-year stretch to
the worst, to a mediocre, not even mediocre.
Yeah, struggled. He was on a struggle bus to a 5 WAR over 10 years. Like that's fucking impressive. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Dude, he never.
That's my claim that he was just older, and it makes more sense logically if he was 4 years older that he declined that fast.
Dude, before 2011. He never had an F-WAR lower than 5.4.
I feel like I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. It's harder to get a high F-WAR as a first baseman.
It is because defense is a part of it.
Yeah, so it's like there's not much. So WARs are lower for a first baseman than for a center fielder per se. So that is ridiculous that his F-WAR was that high in 10 years.
He somehow never had an F-WAR higher than 3.3 in his entire Angels career.
Yeah, it's crazy.
From 2017, from 2016 to 2021, he didn't have one game of WAR, one run. He didn't have one.
Yeah.
So 2016 to 2021, he had negative 2.5 F-WAR in 5 years.
Yeah, it's insane. It's crazy that it took this long for them to make a change. But I mean, contract, I get it, but it sucks. But that decline is insane.
And in his
I feel like he was just older. He was obviously older than we thought he was. So a decline that fast makes more sense. But
his Angels career, he had a 106 F-WAR. A 106 WRC plus. He had 221 homers. He had over 200 more home runs in another uniform.
Yeah,
like 400 home runs he hit as a Cardinal in that same time period.
Yeah,
like in that same length of time, he did the same thing, but he was two different people in that time.
Yeah, he was literally half of himself.
It's insane. And his WRC plus as a Cardinal is 167
over a 10-year span. That's fucking insane.
So you ever go on Fangraphs? They have they have like the offense. There's like an
offensive defensive one. Yeah.
So his offense was 629.3 in his time with the Cardinals.
God damn.
Yeah. He had a 79.8 year in 2003. That was his first MVP, I believe.
That's ridiculous.
That's fucking stupid. And then his time with the Cardinals, he had a negative 15.4 offense.
Yeah, it got to be the craziest splits. Like how Kobe had the greatest first for number 8 and then the greatest 24, and they're mirrored. Pujols is fucking opposite. It's insane.
I just don't get it. How are you that bad?
Because he hit the wall when he was 31, but he was really fucking 37. I don't know.
That's the worst decline of all time. But
it has to be.
I don't want to.
And then he's still top 5 offensive player of all time with that terrible second half of his career. Like that just shows you how dominant he was.
Career 667 home runs. He's got a career 10 point, and with those crazy awful years, he still has a 10.7 walk percentage and a 10.5 K percentage. So he's pretty much 50. Which I believe is probably a 0.5. It's 50-50 in right there.
So it'd be close. It would be close to 1. So it'd be like high point. It'd be 0.98 probably.
Yeah, like
even would be one. So yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like that's wild. That is. It doesn't make any sense, actually.
And then he was just such a smart player too, like good for his size and had the lack of speed.
Yeah,
like great base runner.
1.01 is what is okay, and that's with, like I said, like we just said, 10 bad years.
Yeah, below 10 below average offensive seasons. Yeah,
like
a negative offensive whatever that rating is. I don't know. Is that how they measure? No, I don't know how they measure what they measure that with, but
with their offensive number,
the offensive rating, defensive rating.
So it's offensive batting and base running combined.
Okay.
So it's batting and base running combined, and it's above, and they usually give you like an average.
0 is the average, I guess.
Yeah, 0 would be the average.
Yeah, and he was negative for them 10 years with the.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And he still ended his career with a 613.9.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And again, I'm not sure if his career is over, but he cleared waivers today. We're looking at most likely him going. Probably, like we said earlier, we're probably waiting. It's probably going to be a wait and see towards the mid part of his career. But I mean, he still has 667 home runs. I'm sure he still has aspirations.
He wants to get that 700, hopefully.
For 700. I don't know if that'll ever come. But I mean,
how many hits does he have? Is he right next to a milestone for hits too? Is he just under 3,000?
No, he's got 3,200. He's got 3,253.
So there was something. I don't know what the milestone was then. Maybe average career? Was it? Did he just step under 300? Maybe
298.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Then he's not gonna sustain a average to be able to get that back to 300. But it would be nice to see him get that at 700 home runs.
Yeah, and I mean he needs 33 more home runs in order to do that. So
he would need this year and all of next season in the lineup.
Yeah, like he needs
when the Cardinals bring back the DH and he slides over there next year.
I would not be shocked if he takes the rest of the season off, gets himself healthy, and maybe drops some weight, and then says and focuses on how I can become a productive hitter like Nelson Cruz.
Exactly. Or any just get on base, something develop some angle at getting back into an everyday lineup.
That's
Nelson Cruz is a freak. But this year, I mean, I don't see him signing with anyone this year unless it's a AL team where he would get regular at bats at DH, or at least regular enough. I don't see him going to an NL team. What the hell's the point? No. He's not going to start at first base for anybody. And
I wrote 3 teams down that I thought he could go to.
White Sox.
White Sox are one, but Tony La Russa apparently said that they're stacked or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, just Eloy and Robert, you think they would have a use for him right-handed at bat, but
and the Tony La Russa
the connection there. Obviously, but they're fucking driving a Mercedes every day at DH right now. That dude just hitting baseballs all over the place. So
the St. Louis Cardinals obviously were my second team, were one of my teams. That's just obvious reasons.
Yeah,
and number 3 was the Kansas City Royals.
Okay,
Mike Matheny. Yeah, connection with Missouri. Even though it's not like St. Louis, but Kansas City, it's mainly because of Mike Matheny, a teammate of his.
Yeah.
So,
and they're kind of falling off the map a little bit, I think, right? They're not. They were on fire for a while.
They lost today. They lost their 12th straight game.
Yeah. So, what the fuck is going on outside my house? Hopefully, fireworks, or people are just getting lit the fuck up. But either way, just don't.
Either way, good stuff.
Yeah,
but
I could see them. The only reason I see him signing with the Cardinals is they're in great shape right now. They've been playing great baseball, and like you said, obviously the connection. It's you don't have to talk about that, but why not get on the team right now and then be that locker room presence, do something where you're showing that you're can be productive somewhere, whether it's locker room or on the field, and then next year when the DH hopefully comes back, you're already. Just was with the team for a little bit. Why not try diving into somewhere where you can beat a DH?
And in all reality, he can really sign a league minimum right now. He can sign a minor league deal if he wants, because he's already still making 20-some million off the is it 20 million? Yeah, it's 20 million off the Angels. So it didn't really matter.
Yeah, money wise, I feel like he's going to take league minimum regardless. But if he wants to he wants to play, which is the problem. Like he's not going to start anywhere. But
anywhere like we keep saying, anywhere with a first base open, I don't really see that being a thing.
No, not at all.
But yeah, man, that's
it would be nice, obviously, to see him get to 700 at some point next year if he gets a chance. But that's what it is. Great career, fucking one of the best, top 10 player of all time.
And if that's it, a round of applause for him. He was phenomenal. He was fun to watch. You know, I still remember like the Brad Lidge home run that he hit off of the home run he hit off of Brad Lidge at Minute Maid is still one of the greatest postseason home runs I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's just straight like goosebumps shit.
It was
like you watch it and you're like, oh my god! Like
if anything, Phillies fans should be so happy that he did that because it led Brad Lidge to being dealt and being expendable. Yep. And it ended up being the greatest thing for the Phillies too. So that home run, not only did it do something for the Cardinals, it did something for the Phillies.
Ripple effect. And got us at fucking World Series as well.
100% it did, and it gave Brad Lidge. It gave Brad Lidge like revenge fucking life, and he wanted to just go out and absolutely dominate, which he did. So again, kudos to that, and hopefully we see Albert again. But if we do not, congrats on a great career. It was phenomenal to watch you and. One of my favorite players of all time. I think I have about 30 of your baseball cards that I actually bought. Like I bought single baseball cards at a card shop. Like I used to go there looking for Albert Pujols cards. I loved Pujols. He was just he was my guy. And he was one of my many favorite players, but he was like my favorite superstar player that I like. I think I have like tiers, and he was a fucking superstar, and he was my favorite players, but that was a superstar. So kudos to him, and, you know, hats off to a great career.
Absolutely.
But that is all we have today. Dan, we had an hour and a half show today, which is my longest show I ever had. Hopefully,
we could have definitely went with other
absolutely.
Topics kept this running.
This was a really, really good show. Dan, thank you again for coming on. Dan, why don't we just make it official? Why don't we just make you an official part of the Fresno podcast?
Yeah, I mean, as long as I'm available Thursdays, you pen me in. Fuck it.
I'll pen you in. You'll be my co-host over here.
Sounds good.
So thanks again for listening. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We are on YouTube. We're on Facebook Live right now, which we usually are on Thursdays. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to be here next Thursday. I'm just going to hopefully be here next Thursday. Things happen, life happens. But either way, it's either going to be every Thursday or every other. I'm hoping that it's going to be every Thursday. That is my goal, is to be every Thursday, because it sucks because an hour and a half was needed to fit in all the stuff. So in order to make it
going, so
again, every week, so much other shit.
Yeah, hopefully we get shithead. We can get this ball rolling.
Get it every week.
Exactly.
Yeah. But can it be in every week?
It is what it is.
Yeah. But again, thank you for coming on, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of you. We are out. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, brother.